Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maya Luisa and I created this channel as a space to teach and to inspire women to actualize their full radiant selves, to be in their divine feminine energy, to have sovereignty over their body, fertility in all aspects of life, and to live and love on their own terms. And I believe that it is through the embodiment of your feminine energy that you can attain all of these things. That is what I teach. That is what I know to be true. And so for me, and my story began, I guess, in my early 20s. I was a dancer. I still am a dancer, but I was working professionally as a dancer and I was traveling around the world, touring and being in an Afro-Cuban dance company. And I was a soloist. So we used to travel all over the world and especially to Cuba. So I used to go to Cuba about 4 times a year and I would spend a month each time. And I was, I had no kids, I had no responsibility. I was just loving life, dancing in Cuba, studying in Cuba, and traveling and dancing and living my best life. And then around age, I guess I was 25. I was in Cuba and I was gonna stay for a long time, actually considering moving there because I love it there so much. And I was staying there for a long time and my mom called me. She never calls me when I'm in Cuba, so I knew something was up. And she called me to tell me that she broke her leg. And I knew, being her only daughter, that she was really calling me because she needed help. She didn't have someone to help her in the way that only a daughter can. So I sold all of my things. I sold my jewelry, my clothes, I sold everything. I left a lot of my clothes in Cuba and got on a one-way flight back to New York City. And I lived with my mom and I took care of her, and she couldn't walk, so I used to bathe her, and I was I was doing her laundry, cleaning her house. It's an honor to really be able to be in a position to help your parent because you only get one. And so I felt honored to do so. And as she got better and better, and then I started driving her to work, and she eventually got better. But then I realized that it made sense at this point in my life to settle down, to put some roots down, to have my own place, to do all those things. So I decided to settle in New York and started taking dance classes in New York City, got my own apartment and started working. And I felt at that time, I was like, okay, I decided, now I'm 26. I was like, you know what? I want to find my person. I want to get married. I want to have babies. I just want to check this off the list now because that's what I want. That's what I'm ready for. I didn't want to have just dating. I didn't want anything casual. I was ready for love. And so I set out on a journey to attract love. So at that point, if I went on a date with anyone, I would tell them very upfront, yeah, I'm looking for marriage. I was never ashamed of saying that, and I was not hiding it at all. I was very much I don't want to waste my time with anybody who doesn't want the same thing that I want. I want a family, I want to get married, la 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 la. So I set out on this quest. I'm 26, and what I found was that it was not as easy as I thought. You watch a movie and people get to an age. I thought that it would just happen. I thought that, love just happens. It just happens to people. You find your person, whatever. So I was doing all these things, putting myself out there, and didn't really understand why it wasn't working for me, why I kept attracting toads, why, and so then I went through years go by, and I keep attracting wrong people. And I went through a self-development program. And in the self-development program, there was this one coach, and she on the side had this, I guess it was like a challenge or something, but it was all about feminine energy. And from doing her like free challenge thing, I realized, I was like, oh shit, I'm in my masculine. That's why I'm attracting toads. That's why I'm not, able to relax. That's why I'm not able to attract love, because I'm like pushing, I'm repelling what I want, because I'm being like super, just not relaxed, not in receiving mode, not in a state of like knowing my worth, And so I set out on a quest to embody this feminine energy and to learn all about it and to be in my feminine so that I can find love. And so she was my first coach. And then I went through another coach, another program, like 70,000 books. I tried everything and was still, nothing stuck. Like nothing was really working for me to really like capture this energy for myself and to embody it. I attained a lot of information and people talking about it and knowing about it and being able to sense it, but to embody feminine energy is actually the key. And so it wasn't sticking. At that time, I'm teaching dance, I'm teaching yoga, I'm teaching sensual stretch, which is something that I created, and I'm doing all of this like outward pushing of like dance and movement and energy. And so at that time, now it's like my early 30s, and now my family is pressuring me. I had family members embarrass me at weddings, being like, throw the bouquet to her, throw it, like a church full of people was like, throw it to her, talking about how difficult I am, that's why I don't have a man, talking about I need to learn how to compromise. I had people praying over me. I know they had good intention, but it was embarrassing, like praying over Maya because she, has no luck with love. I have family, my family in Cuba was telling me, you're getting older, just get pregnant by whoever and don't tell him. Like that was literally the message they were giving me. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be a single mom. I want a family. I don't want to just be married and check it off either. I want love. I want true love. I want to be cherished and ravished, and I want to be in love with that person too. I don't want to just be, I could have gotten married, but I wouldn't have been in love. And I wanted true love. I wanted a romantic marriage and all of those things. I wanted a family and a person that's going to be there, and a person that wants to be a dad, and like I wanted all of that. So yeah, that was the message from my family. Big pressure. I even had another family member like go tick tick tick, making the ticking sound, because I was getting older and I didn't have any babies yet. It was terrible. And then it just got to a point where I felt a little hopeless. I felt like there was something wrong with me. I felt like, why is it so easy for other people and not me? And I felt like a bit of despair. And I legit thought something was wrong with me. I was like, am I cursed? Is someone doing bruja to me? Like, I was just like, this is not working. This is not working. I was able to attract, but I wasn't attracting quality. I was able to get in a relationship, but then it would not be a good relationship. I knew that it was my feminine energy. I knew that I was very much in my masculine energy, especially when I got in a relationship. I ended up being very pushy, controlling, doing the most. It was not it. So finally, I get to age 35. So this is like 10 years journey. And I just had like gone through a really bad relationship, and I was just like, you know what, F it. Like, it is what it is. I just want to focus on myself and just heal and just be by myself and be prepared to be by myself. And I kind of just surrendered. I was like, you know what, if it's meant to be, it will be. And I don't want to just keep going the way I was going. So what I did was, I had a dance studio at the time. And what I began doing was, every morning I began going to the dance studio at like 6 or 5 in the morning and before work. And I would just go there and dance for me. So I'm a dance teacher, so I teach dance, I teach it, I teach everything, but I wasn't dancing for myself. I wasn't dancing in a way that was just for me to explore movement and to be in love with movement. It was just my job to teach it. So I began just dancing for me, not for a class, not for a performance. I began to stretch and just be in my body and open my hips. Whenever I wanted to release and cry, I would cry. I would just do all these things. I remember I used to wake up super early, and I would make French toast, and I would have like French toast, strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries. I love berries. And a big, strong green tea. And I would go to my studio for hours and just dance and just be in my body and feel into my body and open my hips and explore. And if I needed to like cry, I would cry. But I allowed myself to have this space to dance for me. And what that did was, it shifted my energy completely. That is when I truly can say I embodied feminine energy. I knew about it from all of the teaching, but it didn't come within to a wisdom way of understanding it. See, masculine energy is logic, but feminine energy is wisdom. And that wisdom began to emerge from within me through the dancing. And it completely shifted me. It completely shifted me. I began to be filled up with my own energy, be filled up with my own joy, be filled up with my own movement and fluidity. And it wasn't just about teaching, and it wasn't just about performance. It wasn't about the outside. The exterior wasn't moving me. It was an internal movement. It was an internal joy. It was an internal fullness that I experienced. So that was a period of time between, I guess it started the end of October, and then we move into December. And at the end of December, no, it was right at the beginning of January, right at the very beginning of the year, is when my partner, my now partner, the father of my children, the love of my life, he reached out to me. So we knew each other for years, but he reached out to me, and you know, soon after that, everything clicked into place, and we've been together ever since. But I can say that I asked him, because he knew, you know, he had my info, he knew me for years. I was like, why then? Why did you reach out to me then? And he always says, because it was time. But what I know is because my energy changed. It was because I finally got into the frequency of my own feminine energy. I finally began to become the magnet and pull things to me without pushing. I didn't even, I didn't reach out to him. I didn't do anything. The only thing I did was change my internal state. And that truly transformed me. And that is how I was able to attract love. And that's how we're able to still be in a loving relationship that is very juicy and very romantic and flirty and fun. Not saying that it's always peaches and roses and rainbows, but every time that there's friction, every time that there's that yeah, that friction, I know what I need to do. And I've built now in my practice, in my daily life, all of these little rituals that I do to keep me in my place, to keep me centered in my divine feminine. And that is the best gift that I can give to myself and to my relationship and to my children and to the world, because I'm filling myself up with my own essence and then giving from the overflow of that. Yeah, it truly changed my life. And so when I teach, and what I do in my program and what I do with all of my clients, is I teach them the embodiments, I teach them the dances, I teach them the stretches, I teach them how to reflect on their life so that they can grow in ways that will empower them and just to embody their feminine energy, and just these deep practices with your body that pull and open and awaken your feminine energy centers and your center of power. And so it's just a beautiful shift, and that is the gift that I give in my work, and that's what I'm all about. It is embodying the feminine energy from the body. Your body is the vehicle. Everybody can talk about feminine energy, they can sit and talk all day, but for me it's not about knowing, just conceptually. It is very much about your body, your movement, your energy, your frequency, and doing these movements, these ancient movements of sacred belly dance and all of these things that have been in place since the beginning of time for women, by women, to teach them feminine energy. I think that belly dance teaches you everything you need to know about feminine energy without saying a word. And that is the power of it. That is how it's been passed down generation to generation, all throughout time. Even if it's not coined specifically belly dance, the movements with regard to many different people throughout Africa, the way that they teach and celebrate the hips and the movement of a woman and the movement of her hips and the engagement of that area, because that is life. That's where life begins. And it's such a potent center. It is the center of life. And here in the West, we have a lot of shame with our belly. We have a lot of shame with our hips. There's a lot of like dormant energy there, and people can feel uncomfortable with moving that area. We've been taught that all types of things, that it's wrong, that it's dirty, that you're being fast, that you're being whatever. And to break through that and to just celebrate that part of your life is so powerful. So that's how I like to teach this work, is through the body, and it's deeply moving and powerful. And I invite you to join us for the 5-day Radiant Goddess activation. It's absolutely free, and it's in the description box, and that will give you a taste of what this work feels like and looks like. And I invite you to join us, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace and love.